So I came into Billy Bilsland's bike shop in Glasgow today. It's a really well-known kind of Glasgow institution. And Billy Bilsland was personal friends with one of my cycling heroes, Robert Millar, from Glasgow, south side, Pollock boy. And here we have Robert Millar's original bike. It's a Vitus Peugeot, one of the early carbon fibre bikes. Fibre of carbon you'll see here. For anybody that knows, Robert Millar was, he won the King of the Mountains in the Tour de France. And he was an absolute machine, he was a legend. And I just thought I'd come in and do a wee video and ask the shop, they keep it in the back. It's a very, very valuable piece of cycling history. It's probably it should probably be in a museum somewhere, but it's I once tried to buy this bike for a substantial amount of money many years ago. And old Billy chased me out the door for my cheek. And he's always kept loyal to Millar's privacy, which is admirable. He'll never give an interview on him or stuff like that. And I'm very protective of this old bike, and it just looks like an average old bike to anybody, but its history is quite incredible. Robert Millar was a complete outcast in the professional cycling peloton. He used to ride 250 miles a day in a bowl of salad. The guy was an absolute machine. Went to France himself, learnt the language, pursued the sponsorship, lived in a caravan with nothing. You can read about his story. There's a great book, In Search of Robert Millar. And later in life, you know, he's had a lot of personal things in his life and changes in his life, and you know, I think he transitioned in life to a female, and you know, he identifies transgender today, and he was on the television, did a bit of commentating again, but I don't know his personal circumstances. I'm not sure how comfortable he was these days with the way cycling is kind of broadcast, and I don't think it worked out for him. But very, very interesting man, and as a sporting icon, Millar should be up there with the best of British athletes, and he's almost forgotten today. You have people like, you know, Bradley Wiggins and stuff that take the mantos, but Millar was totally unique and very introverted, very, very shy individual. But this is his bike, guys, and it's a little bit something different from the norm on the channel. But as I was in the city, I just think I'd come in and ask, and the shop kindly brought it out the front for me and let me take some photographs and stuff. They probably get asked quite often to see it, or maybe they don't these days, because younger guys kind of don't realise Millar's significance in world cycling. But this is it. And although there's bikes in this shop that are like, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 quid, this bike here is way more unique than any of them. And its significance and, you know, the history of the Tour de France is actually quite incredible. This was Millar's bike that he rode to success in when he won the King of the Mountains, the polka dot jersey. Which is quite a remarkable feat for a guy with literally no support. Pro peloton riding's like a team event, you know, you need the team to get the lead rider to the front, and he just wasn't getting the support. He was a total outcast because they just didn't like him. He won these, he should have won the Tour, but they held him back from it and stopped him winning. They didn't want him to win it. But aye, that's the bike. That's Millar's Peugeot Vitus Carbone. And it's literally, in its day, it would have been, you know, probably ever so slightly above average. It wouldn't have been the best bike in the peloton by any stretch. It's a pretty standard bike. It's not amazing. It's got a set of, you know, fairly decent Mavic wheels on it. It's got the old simplex derailleurs and a strong light crank. which is pretty good stuff, but you know, in terms of the modern gear, Campagnolo, Super Record and Shimano Dura, stuff like that, this is what you would throw in the scrap heap these days. You know, look at those, look at that. I mean, it's absolutely tiny, but it just shows you the power that these guys had to just keep on turning that. And you know, they were always in the big gears, just crunching. Nowadays it's all about cadence, and it's a lot more refined and, you know, sublime and subtle, and there's a lot more science involved in cadence. But in these old days, these guys just basically, you know, put their feet in here and turned these big gears on absolute determination and willpower, with no real sports science involved, no real, you know, nutritionally balanced diets and stuff like that. They just hammered it. Wheels are all weathering. As I say, the bike's totally original to Millar's time on it, and it's never been cleaned and it's never been washed, and you can see, you know, there's a little bit of sellotape protection here to keep the stickers in good, and there's the Vitus badge underneath the dust. These were the old glued joints. It was really early technology. I've got a few of these frames. I've had quite a few of them over the years. I always loved them, how the carbon comes into the aluminium. But the tech wasn't great at the time, and some of the times the glues were separating and there was issues. It's got a French headset, ATAX, which is French. Peugeot, it's probably one of their subsidiary companies. It's got Cinelli bars, which are standard. Cinelli always made top quality bars. Weinmann brakes, again, not good brakes. They're okay. For the era, they were pretty decent. They're obviously drilled for lightness, take a bit of weight off without weakening them. But they were really, really bog standard for the time. And it just goes to show you that the stopping power wasn't a consideration. And when these guys are coming down off Gillibray and, you know, Ventoux and stuff like that, they're hitting 60 mile an hour in these bikes, and these little rim brakes are not going to stop you. They're going to slow you, but they're not going to stop you. And a lot of these riders wiped out big time, you know, serious crashes, guys have been killed. But the tech today is, you know, look at the difference, right? So, right, look at that. It's tiny, right? And then look at the size of this and the difference. There's obviously modern day disc brakes, right? Real top quality. You've got electronic shifting now, and everything, you know, carbon fibre. Look at the stem. Look at the difference, right? This is obviously your electronic shifting. You know, these bikes are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,000. There's bikes over there 8, 9,000 quid. The stopping power's immense. The levers, everything's just about, you know, and look at the difference in this old bike. But this was the one, and this has always been in my mind, this bike. One day I'd love to own it, just because Robert Millar rode this bike, and I just believe it should be in a, this shop is a bit of a museum. It's one of the top bike shops in the city, and Billy Bowsland rode with Robert Millar back in the day, way back, probably in the 60s or 70s, before Millar went pro. They rode together as amateurs and stuff. And my first ever cycling jersey, it was a Fagor jersey. It was bought from here when I was probably about maybe 10 or 11, I don't know. But my dad brought me in here and got me that jersey. He knew Billy, and he got me this jersey, and Billy gave me a cycling cap and stuff, and a wee water bottle and bits and bobs, and that was kind of probably planted a seed where my love for cycling came from, especially like Tour de France. There my love for the Tour de France came from. So aye, there's a wee bit of history. This is it. And that bike there is famous, and like I say, to anybody out with being a cycling fan, it's just an old racer. But I collect old racers and I absolutely adore this bike. And I did come in one day, you know, cocksure of myself with a wad of dough and tried to buy it, and old Billy booted me out the door for my cheek. So there we go. I just thought I'd give you a wee insight into something I love. Robert Millar's old jersey, the polka dot original jersey, and the skin suit, his time trial skin suit was up there, but they've moved it recently. Their new shopper, I would show you it, so I've just missed out on it. But you know, there's Billy's old stuff when he sponsored teams, but the polka dot jersey was up there. I've also got the polka dots on my leg. That's a bike derailleur, as you can see, Campagnolo. My skin's a wee bit dry, but yeah, that's a bike derailleur. And there's the polka dots, that signifies the king of the mountains. That's my little dedication to this guy. So aye, there you go. So I hope you enjoyed it, alright, and thanks very much for listening. Have a good day, and thanks to the shop for bringing it out and letting me see it. Cheers guys.